but we're just going to go ahead and get started. Hi, everybody. My name is Daniel Barrera Ortega, and I'm the program specialist at the SGSO Network. We're welcome to our summit orientation. So you'll get to see an overview of what's going to happen at the summit, as well as a short recap of what happened at the last summit in 2024. And then just a reminder that the last 30 minutes of today's presentation will be specifically for folks that are doing presentations and some presentation orientation and best practices. So if you're not doing a presentation, you can check out and we'll clearly cue that later today. But for now, welcome. We're just gonna run through. Before we get started, I'm joined by some amazing folks today. So I don't know if you wanna, John and Reggie, if you want to introduce yourselves.
Yeah, hi, I'm John. I've been a part of all these summits. I'm excited to see you all, and I've been very much engaged in the educational components, and we'll talk more about that in these talks today.
Hi, I'm Reggie. I've also been pretty involved with the summit, scoring applications, scholarship applications, looking at session presentations, and I'm excited to be here today.
Awesome. So we're just gonna run through to get started with a quick overview of what happened at the summit in 2024. Just gonna share my slides really quick. Here we go. So what happened at 2024? And if you have any experiences that you'd like to share about the 2024 summit, please chime into the chat. We love to hear those memories. But what happened at the summit in 2024? We had some amazing main stage speakers. Some even incorporated dance, and these are all stories from the field of school garden professionals, from educator to program management administrators, even network leaders. We also have extracurriculars, which included the classic song circle, some tea making, more dancing. We dance a lot at these summits. We had a barn dance where we learned some square contra dancing. That was really fun. That might make a cameo. No spoilers. But then we also had set learning sessions, and these were peer-to-peer led sessions, both from garden education or culinary lessons or how to better teach outdoors as well, which this summit will feature an expanded track for folks that might be more on the capacity building or even program management learning path. So we're really excited to host even an expanded version of the offerings in our learning sessions at the summit. And most importantly, we networked and we gathered. So we host peer-to-peer networking sessions as well as connections for young professionals to mentors as well. So this is a great place to make new connections with folks, collaborate, learn from one another, and just feel a sense of belonging in this amazing school garden movement. So this is just a brief snapshot of what happened in the 2024 School Garden Summit. So we can learn about this next summit. I'm going to pass it to John so he can tell us a little bit more about what to expect.
Great, thanks, Daniel. So our whole purpose is to inform, inspire, and invigorate the school garden movement. This is the only school garden national conference, and we're going on to our third national school garden conference. We're expecting to have about 575 attendees. The whole conference is underwritten by the Sprouts Healthy Communities Foundation, a part of Sprouts Farmers Market grocery store. And the way they underwrite it is they're subsidizing our room costs for nonprofit attendees. They're funding scholarships for registration for 1/5 of our attendees are coming on full ride scholarships in terms of registration, and some people are getting scholarships for travel stipends. And they do this because they want to support those that are doing garden enhanced nutrition ed, cooking education in schools and gardens. And my organization, Life Lab, we're a 45-year-old organization that is engaged in garden-based learning, and we're partnering with the SGSO network to bring kind of more the educational component, the networking experiences. And what's great about this summit, we got this summit where we got this time every other year to gather, and then the SGSO network keeps the conversation going. And we're going to talk more about some of those ways that we're going to continue to network and grow. And we use the summit to infuse our network. So we can go on to the next slide and share a little bit about where we're meeting this year. So we're the Arizona Grand Resort in Phoenix, Arizona. February is the best time ever in Arizona. I was just there last week. It was 75 in the day, 50 in the night, sunshine all the time. It felt like that Groundhog Day movie where every morning you wake up and it's like, oh, blue skies again. So our dates are the 19th through the 22nd. And today is our last day of early bird registration. And most of you, I think this is for attendees, so you probably all registered. But if you have colleagues, let them know that this is the day to register if you want to save $100 during the summit. Where a lot of, it's three full days if you count the 2 half days on each end. And we feed you for all your meals, and the food is great. It's the menu's curated to the Sprout chef. And we're just going to have a great time. So let's go to the next slide, Daniel. Lodging rates. Today's the deadline to get your lodging in. So subsidized rooms. All rooms are 2-room suites, meaning in that bottom right-hand corner, you can see that couch. That's a bed, and there's a door in between the 2 different rooms. So they're extra big rooms for all of our attendees that are coming into our summit. Next slide. Um, as I mentioned, the SGSO network and LifeLab put together the agenda, but what we rely on are our peers. And if you go on our website, you'll see that we have a big planning team, and Sprouts allows us to do that by uh, um, kind of providing stipends for the folks that engage. But essentially, the folks that plan this conference, select the workshops, and the scholarship review, and all of those processes are all of your peers. They're all garden educators from across the country, and that's one thing that makes our summit a little bit unique, I believe. All right, next slide. So here we go. So Thursday, we are going to start out at 2:45, or it might be 2:30 with a welcome reception. And we're going to have a general session after snacks on the lawn. We're going to all be inside. We're going to have dinner. And then that night, you just go take a nap or do the fun extracurriculars, dance, sing, arts and crafts, explore the property. Friday, we jump into it with general sessions and workshop session block 1 and 2. We're going to have our cooking classrooms on Friday, affinity groups, an incredible reception from some young chefs. And then we're going to have salsa dancing and normal dancing. So we're going to have a DJ and a salsa instructor if you're looking to learn some salsa dance moves, we'll have a little introduction followed by just a general dance. Saturday, we head out on field trips, or we'll have deep dive sessions on site. And then workshop block 3, and then kind of a chill night of beautiful dinner on site and DIY networking, which are optionals. And then Sunday, we have another general session and a workshop block. So this is the same sort of schedule that we have that we've had in the past, where we have half day, 2 full days, and then end with a half day. So all this is on our website, so you can check into more details. Okay, next slide. All right. So I want to let folks know that session signups for all of our workshops are on the 26th. So on the 26th, you all need to be signed into Sched, which is our conference app, which we've been emailing you about. You could find links on how to get on our our Sched schedule. On the right-hand side, you can filter by multiple things, just like in this image here. So you can see that there are the filters by type, and then there's also, this is some input we got from 2024. We're now listing target grade levels, if the content level is experienced or advanced or novice, and then we have different themes. And so you can filter the sessions through our app to get a better sense of what you want to have for your Sched or your agenda. All right, next slide. We have an incredible keynote. You can see her introduction on our agenda page on the summit. Radha Agarwal, she talks a lot about community building, and that is kind of an underwriting theme, is that we are going to partner and learn and build stronger communities. And more than ever, we need that work. So we're really excited to have Radha be our keynote on Friday morning. All right, next slide. So I'm going to pass it off to Daniel. He's going to talk about some of these networking opportunities. And if you have questions, just put them in the chat, and we're going to do Q&A at the end for the last, to close us out for the bottom of the half hour.
All right, thank you so much, John. And as John mentioned, we are the School Garden Super Organization Network, and we are one of the partners in planning this amazing conference. If this is the first time that you've interacted with us, hi. Hello, we're happy to have you here. And a little bit about us is that the SGSO network is a peer-to-peer learning network with the goal of growing, sustaining, and elevating a movement of equitable garden-based education. And so, what the SGSO network really is taking lead on is places to make new connections with new colleagues. So, and as well as how do you keep the learning going beyond the summit so it's not just a point in time, but it's something that spreads in between as well. So some of the things that we're providing is mentor-mentee programming, so connecting young professionals or new professionals to the field to mentors. So if you're a mentee, you should be getting communications from me, as well as if you're a mentor. We're also organizing mealtime networking. This will happen both by scale, so the scale of programming that you provide, as well as by role and by region. You'll have the opportunity as well to attend solution sessions where you'll be able to dive into a specific problem of practice and then get input in a structured way from your colleagues as well. And we're hosting as peer learning communities and affinity groups. And this is part of the ongoing learning because these communities can exist just at the summit, but they can also exist outside and beyond the summit. This is a program that we have ongoing. And lastly, in continuing education, we also organized the Growing School Gardens Summit webinar series, where we identify presenters that were interested in crafting their summit presentations into webinars, and then we launch them as a series. So again, we want to keep that learning going, as well as we're organizing anything where you can connect with other folks and create new connections and avenues of collaborations, like morning movement. So this can include morning stretching. We have some folks that submit meditation, as well as some morning Zumba or boot camp opportunities. We're also organizing extracurriculars, so fun opportunities that these are led by peers. Past offerings have included the Song Circle, crafting, tea making is another one that we'll have again this year. And then lastly, we're also going to have net walks. So we're in this beautiful site at the Arizona Grant Resort, and there are walking and hiking trails around the site. So we'll identify a time in the schedule where you'll get to meet up with other school garden, other attendees, and you all can go on a walk in one of the trails and maybe connect about the summit as well as just create relationships with each other, which is so important. So that's what we're taking care of in the SGSO network, and you should expect from us. I'm really excited for all that we're gonna do. Awesome. We're gonna keep it going. So now we're just gonna open it up to a Q&A. So feel free to drop your questions in the chat and we'll read them in the order that they come in. So I'm just scrolling through the chat.
So yeah, if there's issues with registration or lodging in the chat, summit at sprouts.com, that's Molly. And we'll be able to help with you. I'm having a problem right now. I can't chat back to anybody, Daniel, except host and panelists. I don't know if that's a
Oh,
setting for me, but Chris, if you can share, Chris wanted to be an exhibitor. If you could share what organization you're from, that would be helpful.
and
Yes, so
you should be able to use the chat now.
thank you. So Thursday morning, the pre-conference field trip is full, and we can't do your own transportation because they have a limit just to how many people they could take. So we're not able to bring more people to the Tucson pre-conference. Sessions, what time do session signups open on the 26th? And then how many slots are for each session? So we're going to have the sessions open the 26th early morning. I don't know exactly what time that's going to be, but like start of your workday on the 26th sessions will open. And for each session, how many slots will be open, it depends. Different presenters said, I want an audience of 30, or I could have an audience up to 90 plus. And so there will be capacities in different sessions, or it'll show the capacities. And then once those sessions are full, you will be able to join a wait list. But every session is going to have different capacities based on what our presenters requested and what our rooms have the ability to host. Pickleball, great question, Raphael. This particular event venue doesn't have basketball or pickleball or tennis. I was surprised. I checked when I was there last week. They do have a 20,000 square foot gym with like all the equipment and yoga room and spin room. They have a full lap size pool. They have a 7-story water slide. They have a lazy river. They have a wave pool and a large mountain preserve next door for running and hiking. So some really great things. Someone wrote, could my travel companion that's going to be with me, can they go on the hikes and such? Yeah, if they're staying at the resort with you, they will have access to the experiences that are there at the summit and the hike, the South Mountain Preserve, which is linked to in our FAQ. We have maps and descriptions. That's like an eighth of a mile walk from the hotel. It's like the backdrop of the hotel is this mountain preserve.
John, there was a question. If someone can provide their own transportation to the Tucson field trip, are they able to attend?
No, they're not because it's not about transporting people to Tucson. It's about the amount of people that the Tucson tour folks could host. So the pre-conference is full and we're not able to add any extras to that. So we will be updating on our FAQ page more ideas of great things to do if you're arriving early. So someone in the chat mentioned the Arizona worm farm, which seems pretty incredible. So we'll add that. And we also currently have the Desert Botanical Garden listed, which is literally like an 8-minute drive from the airport. And the Desert Botanical Garden up in Scottsdale is an incredible botanical garden. So that could be something you might want to consider checking out if you arrive early. And we will be updating more things on our FAQ for early or late leavers, early arrival or folks that are staying after.
There's another
Yeah,
question
there
about.
is a wait list for the field trip, and we've kind of already gone through it. The wait list has for the pre-conference field trip, we do have a wait list, and we've already um, gone through that to get to the max capacity that the folks in Tucson want to host. And I see the Chinese Friendship Garden. We can add that to some pre-arrival or post-arrival. Nice. Thank you, local people, for sharing good ideas to do in Phoenix.
John, what's the best way to get on Sched? Just through the App Store?
That's a great question. So right now we have a web-based version of Sched, and if you go to our growing school or schoolgardensummit.org, let's see if I can chat. I can chat to everyone now. That's great. So if you go to schoolgardensummit.org and then click on agenda, um, um, there are two ways to get to our agenda. So one is you go to our schoolgardensummit.org, and that has an overview of our agenda and a link to our keynote. And then what Reggie just put in the chat is the direct link to the Sched. And that gets you directly in the app where you'll be selecting your sessions and such. On the 26th, fingers crossed, if everything goes great, the folks at Sched are going to have our School Garden Summit 2026 app on the App Store and the Google Play Store. So you don't have to have the app, but it does have a better user interface than just using your browser on your phone. But both work quite fine. So the web links that Reggie just shared and the web link to from our Summit webpage are brilliant ways to select your sessions, to preview your agenda, to get more information, to link on the map, to chat with participants, to put in session feedback, and all of that is both through the app and through the website. So we use Sketch the last two summits, and it has worked pretty great for us.
And the app is live. The app, folks are saying that the app is already in the App Store.
I believe that's the old app. So that GSG Summit is the 2024 app, and the new one will be called School Garden Summit 2026. And we will be emailing you all a reminder to get the app and the directly what it's called, and to remind you that session signups are starting on the 26th. So for now, you just need to go through our website. I do want to share that this event venue is rather large. So um, if you have any mobility issues going on, or if going up and down stairs are an issue, there's elevators for all the spaces that we'll be going to, but the distances between spaces sometimes are larger than your average like conference center that's just in one hotel. And in our FAQ, we list if you have accessibility issues, you're able to call the hotel and they have golf carts and they will come up and drive you around from place to place. So if you do have something going on in terms of mobility, know that you can have the hotel golf carts drive you around. They'll come and pick you up.
Uh, John, there's also a couple folks that aren't sure if they signed up for the pre-field trip. What's the best way that they can check?
Yeah, that is a great question. We should send out a confirmation email to the folks. You should also be able to see your ticket types, I believe. So if you go into Sched, you should be able to see your different tickets. So you would have a ticket or a registration for the summit, and then you should have a ticket to the pre-conference offering once you're logged into Sched.
Just combing the chat to make sure that we didn't
Yeah,
miss anything.
looking in here.
The people love
Great.
pickleball. The people really want pickleball.
I know it almost wants to like set up like a temporary net because we do have a big outdoor lounge area on concrete. We could create our own pickleball. Something to think about, extracurricular team, Daniel. Good DIY pickleball. We are going to have cornhole, I think, which is not as fun as pickleball.
Uh, it's like we missed any other question.
So there's a question here. What are the next steps for those who emailed Molly for the rooms? Molly is great with email, but just right now there's a lot. So um, she will be back in touch. So Molly's the one when you do summit at sprouts.com. Molly's our event planner.
And shout out to Molly for all the amazing work she's doing and getting folks organized and supporting them. So thank you, Molly.
Yeah, I could share too that we will be the largest group on property, but there will be two other conferences happening at the same time. We found out that it's a group of head and neck surgeons and a group of software engineers. So we will be sharing the conference center space with them, but we're going to have our own uh, ballroom and our own exhibit area. And we do have nonprofit exhibitors and some for-profit exhibitors that will be on display throughout the whole summit, along with some poster sessions that will be on display in our ballroom area. So the question is, can you reserve your spots online or on the app? You can use either of them. You just need to make sure that you're logged into Sched. So that is something that you should test out. And actually, Daniel, I'm going to share my screen since we've got the time, and I'll show folks what that looks like on how you log in to Sched. So you can go to our Sched, which is School Garden Summit 2026.sched, and you hit login, just like any other website. And it is a little bit confusing because you also, if you go to our website, now we're at schoolgardensummit.org, and this has a lot extra information about our agenda, the highlights, the agenda at the glance. Here's the video from our keynote. And then down below, we have our Sched embedded in here. And you can also log in down here. And once we open up sessions for you to select, you'll be able to browse through the agenda, click on a session, and add it to your Sched, unless it's already full and there's a wait list. And then you'd be able to say, add me to the wait list. You will notice too, when you're in the Sched, that there are some events that are already selected for you, and those are meals and general sessions. So for example, when I click on this is a test user, and I have to log in to see my sessions. It's going to have general sessions and meals already a part of my Sched. So yeah, here are the items that are selected for everyone when I click on my schedule. So I have general sessions and meals. And all of you, you won't be able to select those because they're already selected for you. The food is quite incredible. So if you haven't been to any of our summits, um, you will be fed well, and we have great snack and coffee breaks throughout.
Awesome. We just
There's a question in the chat about security area to gain access to the conference, and I wondered if either of you had insight on that.
Yeah, no, it's a very large resort property that's spread out, and it is not a gated space to get into the conference grounds. It's an open space. There's free parking. There's 4 electric car chargers if you're driving in with an electric car. Um, and there are lots of swimming pools. There are a lot of swimming pools. Everybody will have a swimming pool right outside their room. Food allergies. Within our registration, people already shared their food allergies. And so our chef makes sure that the basic allergens are covered and dietary needs of vegetarian, vegan, gluten-free. And then all of our menu items list their ingredients, or the ingredients are available upon request. And there's multiple options.
awesome.
So Chris, I see you're at Lear Innovations, and we'll follow up with you to talk about being an exhibitor. Put it in my notes here.
Just doing a quick time check.
Someone said that they reserved their ticket, but it's not showing up on their Sched profile.
Yeah, you'll have to email Molly at summit at sprouts.com. And that's all listed on our website, is Molly's email, summit at sprouts.com. Yes, gluten-free will be available.
Awesome. So just we're half past. So we're gonna start transitioning to our second half of today. Um, and if you have any questions, please continue to feel free to send your questions to summit@sprouts.com. But thank you all so much for being here with us today. We're just gonna leave you with this. Don't forget to check out the main summit page, and you'll get to see this amazing video because it's kind of like drumming up excitement for the 2026 summit. But once again, thank you all so much for being here. The next 30 minutes will be for presenters. So if you're a presenter, we invite you to stay and get a little bit oriented with the spaces as well as some best practices. But otherwise, we'll see you in Phoenix. So thank you all so much for being here today. We're excited to gather. And again, feel free to email your questions at summit@sprouts.com once again. And yes, this recording will be sent to you, will be available. This call is recorded. Both parts, both the introduction as well as the presenter orientation. So don't worry, we got you.
And the webinars will be linked to from our homepage and from our agenda page on our main summit website.
Awesome. Thank you all so much.
All right. And I did see, I'll just share, someone did ask about a shuttle from the airport, and that we don't have a shuttle set up. The hotel doesn't have a shuttle, but it is a 10-minute ride share. It's about $17 from my experience using the rideshare apps from the airport. And Stacy, I'm going to note your name about you having a ticket, but you don't see it listed. So that's Stacy. Whitney. Okay. All right. So we are now going to transition to those that are presenting. And our goal is that you are prepared to present and that you can ask all your questions right now in this half-hour session. So if we can go to the next slide. And these are those that are presenting a workshop or a deeper dive or short course at the summit. And we're going to talk about all workshop types. And we'll go to the next slide. So once again, our goal is for every presenter to feel prepared and then lead an incredible summit session. So we are going to go over how to navigate the agenda and your speaker tools because you have access into your session description, and we're going to show you how to do that and how to engage with your attendees. We're going to then have a discussion related to the tech spaces that you're gathering in and materials. And then we're going to talk about tips for being an engaging presenter, how to manage your time, and to be cognizant of cultural practices as you're presenting. And then hopefully we'll have plenty of time for Q&A at the end. So next slide. All right. So we talked about this just prior. So if you weren't on the session, the presentation for the first half hour, there are two ways to access our agenda. And I'm going to share my screen to show you those, but let's, okay, I'll do that right now. So, ba-da-da. Okay, so it is kind of confusing. There is the Sched, and this is straight up the conference app. And you could log in to the conference app via a web browser on your phone or your computer. And then on the 26th, we're going to have an app, and you'll be able to do all the same things from the app. Also, on our schoolgardensummit.org website, the Sched app content or the Sched digital content is embedded on our summit page. So there are two ways to access the agenda. So one is from our main schoolgardensummit.org website. It has a lot of additional information. It has these webinars that we're reviewing today. And from that page, you could link to the lodging page and the FAQ. You could look at summits from the past years. But what I really want you to know about is how to get into your Sched. And so it's kind of a weird noun because we call it our Sched. It's essentially your agenda. But you need to log into your Sched. You'll see the login button. And I was kind of already logged in. You can see up at the upper right-hand side, you can see that I got my icon and it's got some settings. But what you need to know as a speaker, that once you're logged in, you can go to schedule, which is right here on the kind of navigation of your Sched. And it says right here, this blue bar, it says you are speaking at this event. So if you're speaking at this event and you're logged in, you should be able to see this manage and promote your session link. And this link, and it might be small, and we have it blown up on the next slide that I'll show. It allows you to view your attendees, edit your personal profile, add handouts for your presentation, like your slide deck or digital handouts, and you can edit your session description and title. So these are what are called session tools. So once again, to get there, you need to be logged into Sched, click on schedule, and then you're going to see you're speaking at this event, manage and promote your session. So Reggie, if we can go back, or Daniel, if we can go back to the slides. And we're going to go to slide number 23. This slide let's go back to slide 22. Just to summarize what we were discussing. So once
This one.
yes, this one.
Okay, cool.
Once you're logged into Sched, you can manage and promote your session. And those are all the things you can do. So you can view and email your attendees. You can upload your own resources. You can edit your profile. You can edit your session title and description. And eventually, once people submit feedback, you will be able to view feedback that your attendees have provided to you after your session. So it's pretty cool. And it's fun to see that like instant feedback, or if people have follow-up questions, that's how they sometimes will share it if they don't directly email you. All right, next slide. So we have two breakout room spaces. We have 4 rooms on in the Palms area, and those are going to be for the smaller groups, 48 people or less. And in those rooms, we're going to have what you see on the left-hand side, which is classroom style. And then the larger rooms is 60 plus will have rounds of 10. And both of these rooms will have, projector screen, table, easel, and chairs for the folks in the front. And the other things that we're going to provide for you are all the adapters and dongles for you to present from your computer. We will not have a computer for you unless you ask for it. So we're asking you to bring your own computer, and we will have the dongles and the adapters. Wi-Fi, a clicker, a microphone, flip charts and markers, masking tape, and we're going to have tech support roaming the hallways. So well, they're actually outdoor patios since we're in Arizona. We don't have hallways, but beautiful outdoor sunny patios will be where the tech support will be roaming around, and they'll be there to help you if you need any help with your tech. So what is the deadline to upload all the session materials? Honestly, just right before your talk. I mean, we don't want your slide deck to give to us. We want your slide deck for you to present and have it as ready as possible. And we want your slide deck, if you're willing to share it, for you to share it on Sched, ideally before your session starts. If you want to put it up there earlier, totally fine to do that. But we don't have a deadline for you to get us your session materials. We just want you to, if you have session materials that you would like to share, put them on the Sched for your attendees, or for others that wanted to come to your session, but they were conflicted and they wanted to see your session, even though they couldn't come to the session, they could then download your slides. We'll definitely have Wi-Fi throughout the whole conference room. And yes, you're able to move the tables around as long as you move them back the way you find them. So feel free if you want to have a different configuration in your room, or if, let's say, you have less people that fill the tables and you want to like remove chairs in the back, feel free to move the room, but put everything back. We have 30-minute buffers between all sessions. So there is the time to have that 5 minutes of chat after your session and then clear your way out or get your room set back up the way it was. So 30 minutes between each session is what we're going to be seeing throughout the agenda. Okay, next slide. So the rooms that we just looked at for like indoor workshops, we have a lot of other workshop types. We have cooking classrooms. We have 11 cooking sessions happening, and those rooms will hold 20 max. And on the left-hand side, you see the configuration. It's classroom style. And in the front of the room, there'll be a monitor. If you do want to share something via your computer, you'll just have to plug into the cable where there'll be a cable and adapters. There'll be 2 tables. One is a small countertop table, and one is a 6-foot or 8-foot table. And you actually are inside a hotel suite room, so you'll have access to just the normal bathroom sink. All your materials and supplies and ingredients will already be in your room. We're planning to put all your supplies in the room the day before, so you can actually check it out Thursday night before you present on Friday. And then you'll be able to check it out Thursday morning or Friday morning, because you'll be presenting Friday after lunch. And your room is just for your room. You don't have to like clean up immediately because your room is used once. And then the other cooking sessions that either happen before or after you are going to be in a separate room. So that's what it's looking like for the indoor cooking areas. And then the outdoor folks, there's going to be 12 sessions that will be taught outdoors. The images on the right-hand side are what the outdoor spaces look like. 3 of our outdoor classrooms are going to be on the lawn with like hotel, landscaping. And then one of the rooms is going to be on that lower right-hand patio. There's plants, and all we provide are chairs. And in those spaces, you could move the chairs around, or you don't have to use the chairs at all. There's a question here, outdoor areas for deep dive sessions. Yes, you definitely, if you're doing a deeper dive, there are lots of patios outdoors that you could break out and walk outside. And Jamila, if you are interested in having chairs in your outdoor classroom, you can use the same chairs that are as part of our outdoor spaces. It is a really big space. There's a lot of options here. Okay. Uh, Continue to put your questions in the chat, but we'll go on to the next slide. And I'm going to pass it off to Reggie, who's going to, or actually, I'm going to tell you right now that you can find all the tips that we're going through in our FAQ. So in our Summit FAQ, we have a FAQ says, I'm presenting a session. What do I need to know? And there's this handout, which is your Summit workshop presenter tips, and everything that we're reviewing is in that handout. And we're going to spend a little time, and Reggie's going to talk a little bit about some pitfalls that we could work with. And Emmeline, I see that you talked about easels for outdoors, and we can make that available. And Jacqueline said, will you be able to see who registered for your sessions on the Sched? 100%. You'll be able to see who has registered if your session's waitlisted, and you'll be able to communicate to folks through Sched if you want to talk to all your attendees.
All right, great. We'll have more time for Q&A after this quick little download of information. This first one is all about tech. The title, I'm realizing, is incorrect, but it's all about tech. So just kind of advice. Also, if you have advice for folks, maybe you've presented at the summit or done other presentations elsewhere, please feel free to drop your tips in the chat. But some things that we like to think about are arrive early to set up and test tech. So let's say your session is at 10:30. I like to arrive at 10 o'clock, or between 10 and 10:15, just so I can be sure to troubleshoot anything that might come up. Have presentation in multiple forms, USB drive, desktop, online. You never know what can happen. I know USB drive seems kind of old school, but having it on a USB drive certainly guarantees, like if you have it with you, that if something happens to your laptop or to your device, that you will be able to still um, present. I don't know the capabilities of the tech here, but some tech in some places allows you to like AirPlay or other stuff. So get familiar with your own device. Like if you have a MacBook or you have some sort of other computer, try to figure out what other ways you could connect in your room to share your presentation. Have videos downloaded. As a presenter, there's nothing more embarrassing than when I'm trying to play a video and it's buffering. Um, so I try to have the videos downloaded. It also allows you to share the videos, post presentation or before the presentation, for someone that might not be using YouTube or other video sharing websites. Use the provided microphone even if you speak loudly so that everyone can hear, including participants who may have hearing impairments. If you can figure out on your tech, some folks have done this where they have provided closed captions on their screen. There's you can look into that on your own time, but also speaking loudly enough so people can hear you, and so that if there are questions in the room and the room is big, you can use that microphone to also hear people who might have questions for you. Can we go to the next slide? Chunk and chew. So start with an anticipatory set to activate participants' prior knowledge to establish connections between lived experience and workshop content. I know it can be really exciting presenting on something you really, really love, and I know the other people there are excited to learn with you and from you. And starting at where they're coming from or getting a gauge at where people are coming from can help inform you to know where to start, what language to use, where are the people in the room starting at, and where can you depart together so that you can arrive to the same place at the end of the presentation. Deliver no more than 10 minutes of direct instruction at a time. So again, I know that we can get really impassioned when we talk about the things that we care about. And people remember a lot of what they do and less of what people say. So if you can find a way to chunk the information into bite-sized points and then give opportunities for people to chew on that information. So this can look like breaking up the time for participant reflection and engagement. So you can ask a question, right? So for example, I'm gonna ask you all in the chat, what are good ways to facilitate workshop participants in active engagement? You can answer that. Let us know how you like to get participants engaged. Some ways I like to get participants engaged are through think pair shares, using the easel chart in the room and the markers, using sticky notes, just different ways for people to be able to respond to questions. So thinking about how to break up the information so that people can hear you and so that they can respond. I also love a sticky note reflection, Daniel. Can you go to the next slide? Time management. So protecting a few minutes at the beginning and end of a session for intro and closing. Giving yourself some time to introduce yourself and say who you are, where you're from, what you're about. I know it can be tempting to then go around the room and get everybody's name. Um, I invite you to look at their name tags or to have people introduce themselves to the person sitting next to them. Otherwise, 30 minutes of your presentation will likely be everyone introducing themselves. So introduce yourself and, look at people's name tags, look at them in the eyes, but try, if you got a presentation of more than 20 people, try to get them to introduce themselves to their neighbors or the people sitting at the table, but maybe not to you. Consider ways to do participant introductions without using up tons of time. I know I just said this. Another way to do this is like to create a human map. Like we're coming from all over the place. So to get it, if you're like, where are people from in this room? Get a sense of where they're from, ask one side of the room to be from the northeastern part of the United States, one side of the room is from the southeastern part of the United States, one side of the room is from the west, so on and so forth. And then designated timekeeping buddy. So when I'm presenting, I do like to have somebody in the crowd just letting me know how much time I have left, because I like to talk and it's nice to know when I should be quiet. Or alarms. Alarms don't really work for me other than that they're disruptive. But if that's what works for you, if you're like, when I hear the alarm, I know that I have 2 minutes left. Try to abide by that alarm and really listen to it, but do what works for you. Can you go to the next slide, Daniel? Okay, presenting on cultural practices or traditional knowledge from an ethnic and indigenous group other than your own. Think about ways to address representation in your workshop and how to share promising practices for participants who may carry this work forward in their own communities. So acknowledging cultures and people's content of origin as the knowledge holders and you as the steward, learner, and guest. So when someone raises their hand and they share a thought, and maybe you know a lot about the topic, maybe you don't. Encouraging people and saying, thanks for sharing and building on that. So as a presenter, I like to build on whatever has been shared with me. Even if it wasn't exactly what I was looking for, I like to take whatever has been said and create that into something that can shape the larger conversation. Avoid posing as an expert, point to knowledge bearers in the community, open yourself to the funds of knowledge in the community, and show how you learn this content. So sometimes it can be tempting as a presenter for myself when someone asks a question. I'm like, I'm the presenter. Like, I need to answer that. But turn it to the other people in the room. There's maybe 40 of y'all in there. So maybe the other people in the room have expertise on what's being asked. So sometimes that can look like, hey, like, how do I get 40 kids together in a garden? And you might be like, I'm chomping at the bit to answer that. But ask the room and say, hey, room, how do we get 40 people or 40 kids in the garden to hone in and pay attention? And you'd be surprised. That's how peer-to-peer learning happens best. Encourage people who want to bring this work into their communities to build relationships with local knowledge holders in their communities. So what this means is if you notice that two people are from the same general area, even if they're not even the same neighborhood, connecting them to each other and then leaving it to them to take that relationship wherever they'd like. What we find or what I've noticed is when sometimes people feel like they're in a silo, but just up the street there's somebody doing similar work to them, or someone who could just be a sounding board or a friend or a colleague, can be really helpful in this work. Is there another slide? Yes, next slide. Oh, no, that was the last slide. Okay, are there any questions?
There is one in the Q&A function. Somebody's asking for indoor sessions, where can we confirm which breakout room style, Palms or Mountain, were assigned?
So as people start registering for sessions based on the amount of attendees that are registering, we're going to then assign rooms, and we will have done that a week or two prior to depending on if people I think people are going to sign up for their sessions hopefully, and so we'll get a good sense of, oh, this is going to be a large one or this is going to be a small one, and then your session in your Sched will actually have the location. Right now we haven't added any of our locations to our breakouts, and as we see the amount of people that are coming, we will then modify things in our Sched and list the particular locations. If you did say, I only want to present to 30 people, you will be in Palms. So that's something to know, because we're gonna respect what our presenter had suggested, saying that their ideal number is, or their comfortable number is, and we're gonna keep folks that said 30, we're not gonna give them 90. So there's a question, how do we ensure we get an indoor space? Every indoor space is going to have a projector and slides. And outdoor spaces do not have technology. They have chairs, and Emmeline requested an easel. So in the outdoor spaces, we will not have any tech. We will not have any amplification. We're going to limit it to 25. And what we're hoping for the outdoor sessions is that you treat it like teaching a class of 20 or 25 kids, that you're going to use your outdoor voice and you're going to use your grouping signals and things like that for folks to engage as if they were students. Uh, Outside, can I be on the grass or the patio? Um, Yeah, Emmeline, if you wanted to, I'm going to note that. What do you want to be on, the grass or the patio? Um, I guess maybe for the folks that are presenting outdoors, we do have room to put everybody on the grass, and not in the patio. So it's just a longer walk to like go at the edge of the field, because we want physically space between all the different outdoor sessions. But there is this giant lawn, and we could put everybody out on the lawn. But Emmeline, I noted you as wanting to be on the grass. Uh, so there's someone's asking about, am I indoors or outdoors? The way people put in their session presentations, we had outdoor demo lesson, and that we have 12 people that are noted as outdoor demo lessons, and in the Sched they're listed as such. So I'm going to share my screen and show what that would look like in the Sched. Um, so if we're in the Sched here, you can actually click on outdoor lesson demos, and they are this kind of pale color. And these are all the sessions that are outdoor lessons. And these are the people that put in session presentations specifically saying, I want to be teaching outdoors. Then you could click on workshops, and workshops by our definition, are indoors, and they're another type of yellow. And so all of these workshops will be indoors. And then cooking lesson demos, there's 11 of those, and they're kind of a yellow color too. And those are all in those small cooking rooms. So and then if you look at everything, you could look at it day by day. So like here we are, 1 o'clock on Friday, we got our cooking demos, we got our outdoor lessons, which are pale yellow, and we got the workshops. And so if it says workshop, it means indoors. Combing through the Q&A here. So
Someone
Jackie,
asked if there are multiple speakers, is it possible to have multiple mics?
um, in larger rooms, they'll probably be in the mountain rooms, there'll probably be two mics. In the Palms room, we will probably only have one mic. And that would be a mic that you'd have to share and pass from one another. And so someone wrote in here, I don't remember what I'm doing. I don't even remember what I requested. So like Jacqueline here, you could then just come into our Sched and do a search and look for your name. Um, and this would be one way to see. So let's see, Jacqueline right here. And it says you're doing a workshop on doing grants. And that's being that it's a workshop, it doesn't say indoor, it doesn't say outdoor, and it doesn't say cooking. That means you're indoors. And depending on how many people sign up for your session, will determine what size room you're in. And then as we get closer to the summit, uh, in this description, rather than saying location TBA, it will say the name of the room.
John, they also meant if they don't remember if they have a big group or a small group.
Oh, got it. Okay. Um, I don't know if that's shared out here. Yeah, I don't see that being shared here. We have it noted internally on the system so that we don't sign up more than what people requested. And you could go look, you can go into your presentation proposal that you put in, Jacqueline, and there's a question that asked, what scale do you want your audience to be at? So if you look at your presentation submission that you originally put in, you'd be able to find it there.
There was also another question, I don't know if you talked about it already, that they can't recall if they limited their attendees for their session.
You,
So how can they find out if they limited how many people can attend their session?
Yeah, so you can look at your original proposal that you put in because that was a question we asked, or you can just email us and we can go on the back end and look at your application and it will say something like 20 to 30 or 30 to 60 or 60 and above or something. We had three different categories. Um, and that's how you shared to us, but it doesn't share outward, but inward on our system, we will be able to limit and make sure your room has a smaller capacity if you only wanted 30 people. All right. If you need to contact make a hotel in your hotel, a change in your hotel, talk to summit@sprouts.com. And I'm scrolling through the questions here.
There's another question in the Q&A. So if a session starts at 1 p.m. on Friday, will they be able to start setting up their room at 12:30?
Yes, all the rooms during the day will be open for you to get in there. And then I see someone talking about poster sessions and engagement. Our M. Shipman from Kids Gardening is coordinating all the poster sessions, and we are going to have engaging ways for folks to um, engage with the audience. And so we're going to have a scavenger hunt among posters. So during our reception, that kicks off our summit out on the lawn with hors d'oeuvres and just networking. That's when we're asking poster presenters to be at their posters, and we will have some type of engagement set up. And you totally could have a survey or set up something at your session if you'd like. You could also have that digital and have a QR code on your poster, and people can then link to your session description. So that's something to consider as well. All right. Super. Well, I'm so excited. We had about 90 presenters. It's definitely like 75% of you had just attended this session. So hopefully we were helpful and we'll be able to support you in your presentations.
Sorry, John, one more question. Did you mention that you can drop off materials the night before?
Um, well, it depends on the day you're presenting, and how big your room is and how many materials you're putting in that room. So for cooking sessions, for sure, because there's so many materials involved with the cooking sessions. But if you have a workshop that you're presenting and you have like a small box that you want to stick in the corner of a room a night before, You could do that. I'd highly recommend that you label it so that hotel staff or other presenters don't do something with it. All right. So thank you all. We will see you in Phoenix. Excited.